Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's event. Start on your sustainability goals today. This webinar is the second in a series of year-long discussions being hosted by the OCLC Global Council to create awareness and foster dialogue among library leaders on the United Nations Sustainability Development Goals. If you haven't already, please introduce yourselves via chat. Be sure to select everyone from the drop-down menu. Firstly, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Stuart Hunt. I'm the Director of University Library and Collection Services and University Librarian at the University of Reading in the UK. I'm also a member of the OCLC Global Council and the immediate past chair of the Europe, Middle East and Africa Regional Council. I'm happy to be here with you all today and to act as moderator and share us in this important discussion on global sustainability and libraries. OCLC Global Council is a 48-member group comprised of library leaders from across the globe. These library leaders are elected to serve and represent OCLC member library interests. Together, Global Council delegates work to generate insights that help inform OCLC's strategic directions and advance libraries globally. We advance shared knowledge through thought leadership and collaborative conversations with each other and with members throughout the world. And we promote our shared library values through global cooperation and active participation in the OCLC cooperative. Each year, the Global Council selects an area of focus. This year, we have selected the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, as we like to say for shorthand. Over the next year, we will focus on our activities on learning more about how libraries are using the SDGs to help improve their communities. To begin our session today, I'm happy to introduce Chris Cyr, Associate Research Scientist with OCLC Research. Chris holds a PhD in political science with a focus on international relations and has had a long interest in the Sustainable Development Goals. Much of his research centers around the broad impact of libraries in their communities. Chris is currently on the research team for the Realm and New Model Library projects and was also on the Public Libraries Respond to the Opioid Crisis with Their Communities project research team. We are happy to have him here to talk to us today about the Sustainable Development Goals. Chris.
Thank you, Stuart, and hello, everyone. Since today's webinar is all about the Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, we thought it would be good to give a background about what they are and how libraries are involved in the efforts to achieve them. I will then talk about the research we are doing at OCLC, where, as Stuart mentioned, the Global Council selected the SDGs as this year's area of focus. My name is Chris Cyr, and I'm an Associate Research Scientist right here at OCLC. And I'm excited to talk about the SDGs because it brings together so many different parts of my background. Like a lot of people in the library world, I took a zigzagging path to get here. My research now deals with library and information science, but my PhD is in political science with a focus on international relations. I had some peripheral involvement in the discussions around including peace and security in the SDGs back in 2014 when the UN was developing them. So this project has been my dream for a while because it brings together all of the different strands of research that I've done. First, let's take a look at what the SDGs are and which goals are included in them. Adopted in 2015, the SDGs were designed to establish the UN's priorities for economic development over the following 15 years and provide indicators that would allow the UN to measure progress towards development. The 17 goals broadly dealt with the areas of poverty, inequality, the environment, peace, and justice. Each of these goals had between 5 and 10 sub-goals with specific targets attached to it and dates that each country should achieve the target. Here we have the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. The UN was kind enough to lay them all out in one image so that you can see the broad topics that they deal with. And I want to give everyone a minute to look them over. One thing that I really want to highlight is the interconnected nature of these goals. because it shows the long-term impact that libraries can have. A library program that impacts just one goal can have an indirect impact on others, so when libraries think about their activities in the context of the SDGs, it helps give a holistic view of their impact. The OCLC Global Council selected the SDGs as its area of focus for 2021. This means that we will be conducting research around the impact that libraries can have on the SDGs. This process began last spring and will be disseminated in the upcoming year through this webinar series, professional development opportunities, and a variety of reports in various outlets. The first of these was a paper for the 2020 ACES conference back in October, and on the bottom right of this slide, I have a link to the preprint version of it for anyone that would like to read it. Now that we have a better idea of what the broad goals are, I want to go through a few of the goals to show how libraries have been involved in furthering them. This list is far from exhaustive, as libraries have been in some way tied to all 17 of the SDGs, and yes, that does include the Life Underwater goal. As much as I would like to go through all of them, we wanted to focus on the ones where we think that libraries can have the greatest impact. We decided to turn to the Global Council for help with that question. In June of 2020, we conducted 3 virtual focus groups with Global Council delegates to identify which SDGs they believe libraries can impact the most. Here we found that libraries tend to be aware of the SDGs and they have activities around them, but typically they're not directly connected to the SDGs. We then asked delegates to rank the top 5 SDGs where they see libraries having an impact, and we found that quality education was generally the top choice, with decent work and economic growth, reduced inequality, peace and justice, and partnership for the goals being the other most common in the top 5. SDG 4 deals with quality education, and it is also a goal that is central to the mission of most libraries. Public libraries act as an institution that is open to all, opening up access to information for all parts of the community. Academic libraries offer a vital line connecting students and faculty with information. In addition to connecting people with information, libraries are important educators themselves. They provide training in countless areas ranging from information literacy and computer skills to physical fitness and arts and crafts. In Sweden, for example, Malmö City Library offers a Get Started initiative that helps visitors set up email accounts and begin using the internet. During the COVID pandemic, libraries played an especially important role in the transition to online instruction. At many universities, librarians are in charge of helping faculty migrate to online instruction. I know from experience that this can be a difficult process even when you have months to prepare, and in this case, they only had days to prepare with material that was initially planned for in-person instruction. Despite these challenges, we heard from faculty members that they appreciated the help from librarians in digitizing instruction and finding digital alternatives for textbooks and other course materials. Since libraries have been involved in education long before the SDGs came into being, one thing that interested me was seeing whether the inclusion of education in the SDGs has helped libraries with their efforts. I got a chance to talk about this goal in more detail with one of OCLC's former IFLA fellows. Rosita is a librarian from North Macedonia who came to OCLC in the summer of 2013. She now works to promote equal access to education and culture, particularly for children with disabilities, through an organization called Education for All. They have received support from organizations like the World Health Organization and the European Union, and I asked whether she thought the inclusion of equal education in the SDGs helped attract support for her efforts. And she said, quote, "I believe that the fact that equitable education is recognized as an international goal, especially as one of the UN SDGs, makes it much easier for us to make alliances with organizations from other countries. Collaboration is easier when the benefits of the activities are applicable in many countries." SDG 8 deals with decent work and economic growth. Here, libraries play an important role in preparing people and helping them get jobs. Libraries help teach people job-relevant skills like time management, presenting, and using technology. On this slide, I have a few examples of the many different ways that libraries are helping people find jobs. For example, in Berks County, Pennsylvania, the library launched a mobile job lab to bring job search resources to community centers around the county. In Charlotte, people with job interviews lined up can actually check out professional attire from the library to wear at the interviews. And many people use library resources to apply for jobs. This is especially the case for people who are more marginalized economically, as they might not have other sources of internet connectivity. In the European Union, it's estimated that there are over 4 million employment queries that happen at library computers each year, leading to about 1.5 million job applications and around 250,000 people finding jobs. One thing to keep in mind with these numbers is that they're just for 1 year in just one part of the world. Imagine if we were able to collect statistics on this in libraries worldwide for the whole 15-year period of the SDGs. We would probably need a bigger slide to display that number. SDG 10 deals with reducing inequalities. Because they generally serve diverse parts of their communities, libraries can help reduce inequality by working to elevate parts of the community that might be economically, politically, or socially marginalized. Academic libraries, for example, commonly work with first-generation college students to help them become successful in college. On this slide, I highlighted one initiative that I think is really interesting, and that is Girls Who Code. This is a nonprofit that offers free summer and after-school coding classes for teenage girls with an eye towards increasing the number of women in an industry where they are currently underrepresented. Many libraries host Girls Who Code clubs. The example I have on this slide is from Maryland, but this is happening in libraries all over the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, and India. Libraries are also involved in advancing racial equality. One way that they do this is through programming explicitly designed to combat racism. For example, Greensboro Public Library in North Carolina recently launched a racial equality and social justice learning circle. The circle is significant because it shows that the program is designed to be one where everyone learns from each other. At the University of Miami, the library works to educate students about racial injustice. And at the University of Southampton in the United Kingdom, they created LibGuides for resources about race, ethnicity, LGBTQ+, and other communities. Goal 16 calls for peace, justice, and strong institutions. One interesting way that libraries have been involved with this is by helping to close the justice gap, where lower-income people might not have the resources to access for their civil legal needs. Libraries have helped address this through programs to provide people with access to legal counseling. For example, a library in Croatia provides legal advice for people experiencing homelessness. And in New Orleans, libraries hold legal justice clinics for people who might not otherwise have adequate access to legal counsel. Subgoal 16.10 is to ensure access to information and protect fundamental freedoms. One critical part of this is information literacy, and libraries play a crucial role in information literacy education. The example that I have here on this slide is from Georgia State University, but this happens at libraries worldwide. While libraries have been involved in virtually all of the goals, this is one where libraries have been most explicitly involved in, seeing access to information as one of their primary objectives. In addition, it's a goal that libraries led the charge in getting included in the SDGs when they were originally written. The Lyon Declaration on Access to Information and Development was originally drafted by IFLA in 2014 and signed by more than 600 libraries and library organizations. This document called for access to information to be included in the post-2015 development agenda. In this, libraries emphasize the importance of information in allowing people to exercise their human rights, to be active citizens in their economy, to gain new skills, to express their cultural identity, and to be active citizens in their community. It also emphasized that libraries play a major role in information literacy instruction. Finally, SDG 17 calls for partnerships to help achieve the goals. Libraries commonly work with partners in their community in this regard. Several examples from the previous slide involve library collaboration with community partners, for example, the Girls Who Code initiative. One that I want to highlight comes from some research that we recently did at OCLC about public libraries working with partners in their community to respond to the opioid crisis. We found that all across the country, libraries are working with their local government and nonprofit organizations to help those affected by opioid addiction. This can include community discussions and education programs about the epidemic, but it can also involve things like administering Narcan to people who unfortunately overdose at the library, helping people dispose of their unused prescription medication, and providing support and social services for those in recovery. Libraries make ideal collaborators for many efforts towards the SDGs because the reach that they have within their community is virtually unparalleled. In this case, we found that many people who suffer from opioid addiction tend to stay away from law enforcement agencies, but they regularly visit the library and have relationships with librarians and staff there. This gives libraries the ability to have an impact in places that other community agencies might not be able to go. The opioid crisis is just one area where libraries have worked with community partners. I've highlighted a few other cases on this slide. For example, in Norfolk, libraries have partnered with public schools. We've also seen libraries strategically partner with nonprofits in Toledo, Ohio, and in my former hometown of Lexington, Kentucky. On these slides, I highlighted just a few of the many stories about the ways that libraries have advanced the SDGs worldwide. In most of these cases, I doubt that this was explicitly done in response to the SDGs, but these initiatives still played a crucial role in helping achieve these goals by 2030. I would also be willing to bet that most people in this audience, when you think about your own library initiatives, have plenty of stories about the ways that you have helped advance the SDGs. Now that we have looked at the relationship between libraries and the SDGs, I want to tell you more about OCLC's ongoing research in this area. We are currently conducting a much broader survey about the SDGs. If you've not done so already, I hope that you will take a few minutes to fill it out. It's open to libraries of all types worldwide, and it would be incredibly helpful if you would tell us your story about your efforts regarding the 5 SDGs sometime before January 31st. You can access it at the link on this slide or through the QR code on the right if you have a mobile phone. I want to thank you for watching this presentation, and I really look forward to this upcoming discussion. On this slide, I have my email address and Twitter handle, so feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or comments.
Thank you, Chris. That was a really wonderful overview. It's really clear that libraries can do and play a vital role in the Sustainable Development Goals. Before we move on to our panel discussion, we'd like to take a moment to hear from you all. So we'll be using a live polling platform called Poll Everywhere. The URL will be shown on screen and sent out in the chat as well. All you need to do to participate is to open an alternate internet browser via your computer or your smart device and click on the URL to enter. Of the following 5 SDGs, which do you feel will be the most important for libraries to have a significant impact upon? Is it quality education, SDG 4, decent work and economic growth, SDG 8, reduced inequalities, SDG 10, peace, justice and strong institutions, SDG 16, partnership for the goals, SDG 17. We'll give everyone some time to connect and participate in the poll. That's great. Thank you, everyone. We can see there that SDG 10 in reduced inequalities is quite some way ahead of the next, which peace, justice, and strong institutions. We did earlier see decent work and economic growth coming up, but now actually we're certainly seeing reduced inequalities as a major area of our focus. So that's really, really helpful. So thank you for everyone who's participated in that poll. That's really invaluable information. So we'll begin our panel discussion today by having our panelists introduce themselves. So first, let's begin with Christine Dulaney.
Hello, everyone. My name is Christine Dulaney, and I am the Division Chief for the Germanic and Slavic Division at the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C.
Thank you, Christine. Now let's go over to Jan Simane.
My name is Jan Simane. I am Library Director of the Max-Planck-Institut for Art History in Florence, in Italy. It is a German institution located in Italy.
Thank you, Jan. And now to Julie Walker.
Good morning. I'm Julie Walker, and I'm the State Librarian and Associate Vice Chancellor for Libraries with the Georgia Public Library Service, located in Atlanta, Georgia.
Thank you, Julie. So let's begin our first discussion question on SDG 4, quality education. So how can SDGs serve as a framework for providing quality education to the communities we serve? Are there new programs or services you've implemented because of the COVID-19 pandemic? How can libraries position themselves to deliver quality education in these challenging times? Let's hear from Christine.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Stuart. I just wanted to preface my remarks by describing how the Library of Congress has a little bit of a different approach from other national libraries or other public libraries because of its various non-traditional roles. Not only does the Library of Congress serve the general public, but it also serves Congress, it serves the entire library profession, and it builds its collections through copyright deposits. So with its location in Washington, D.C., there is also a Washington, D.C. public library system, and the main D.C. public library is located only a few miles from the Library of Congress, and it has small branch neighborhood libraries throughout the city. So the library works in partnership with the D.C. Public Library, but we don't try to replicate any of the programs that people would more traditionally go to their public library to participate in. So the library has thought a lot about its outreach and its programs and decided that its strength really is in its collections. So we try to gear all of our events and programs to using the collections that we have as a portal to address various issues or topics that may be of interest to even the youngest of users. We like to use our primary source materials as even with the youngest of users so that they use the primary materials in order to research whatever topic it is they've come to the library to learn about. So in terms of the programs or services that we implemented because of the pandemic, I think probably like most libraries out there, the Library of Congress moved its programs online. On the library's webpage is a message that although our doors are closed, the library is still here for you. And in fact, as probably you've seen in your own libraries, sort of broadening our reach, online has increased our audience in many ways, and we've had so many more hits in this time period. So I'm going to ask if we can put the URL in the chat box for you to see because it's a little bit hard to find. I'm going to be referring to a lot of the programs that we have online through our, we call through Engage, and you enter the onto this page through loc.gov. And I think here we've got things nicely outlined for different types of programs that we have for various different people. But in terms of education and how we are supporting quality education, we've created a series of online workshops for students and teachers using the library's collections. So, for example, we highlight the prints and the posters and the books that we have and we create workshops. And these workshops have a syllabus, they have teaching outlines, they have other program materials for teachers to use in a virtual classroom. So we feel that by pulling together these materials, we can help teachers who are looking for resources or supplementary materials to their virtual classrooms. One thing that we did very sort of specifically to address the pandemic is our GIS specialists in the Geography and Maps division created visualizations of how the virus has spread through the United States, sort of which part of the United States has experienced which strain of the virus and how quickly it's been spreading. So it's really been a terrific example of how we have sort of a current problem, the pandemic, and we are using the library's collections and resources in order to create a visualization of what exactly is happening. So those are just a few of the sort of examples of how we are trying to use our collections in order to support the education that is now occurring virtually and to provide information about the pandemic.
Thank you, Christine.
Thank you.
Now let's hear from Jan next. Jan.
Yes, Stuart. Let me start with two more general considerations about the question of the framework. This is the issue which is in the center of the first question. There are two types of framework you can imagine. The first is a clearly defined framework with clear extensions and clear borders. And also the inner order of this framework is set, is fixed. And there's another model you can imagine. This is rather an abstract form of a framework, which means that you have to explore the interrelatedness and the extension of this framework, and that you have to understand step by step in a dynamic process the relevance of the content. So you can imagine that for the SDGs, my favorite model is the second one, of course, and Chris highlighted also in his introduction that all of the SDGs are very much interrelated. What does it mean now for libraries? One of the outstanding features of the SDGs is sustainability. It is already in its name. And as you all know, libraries and the connection of libraries and education have both a long tradition. Libraries are very sustainable institutions. Their collections have a strong sustainability because they are growing over centuries in some special cases, but normally over decades, over years. But also the quality of services provided by libraries is a moment of sustainability. And access to all these things, to the holdings, to the collections, and to the services, the access to information, and in the second step to knowledge in general, is also a sustainable service which is typical for libraries. So in the SDG context, libraries have many different parts where they have relevance for these goals. We can imagine that this basic quality to provide access in a sustainable to information in a sustainable form has relevance, for instance, for the reduction of inequalities. It is important to get a higher awareness of your own rights if you have free access to information. And you can, with this, in this manner, you can verify also your law. So here is another field of relevance where libraries and SDGs come together. It is a precondition, the free access to innovation and research. And this has an immediate consequence for the economic growth in countries, in communities, and thus another field is concerned, which is part of the SDGs. And of course, with free access to information, we have key, so to speak, to get insight to, for instance, to ecological processes and to understand better climate change issues and to react to them. And of course, also the principles, to understand principles of health and also healthy nutrition is based on free access to information. So what I want to say is that this goal number 4, the quality of education, which is based on free access to information, is relevant for all SDGs. And the framework which we are talking about is this interrelatedness of all these elements. It is a growing and developing and connecting process, and this is the framework where libraries should act. Now, concerning the second part of this point, the programs or actions in context with COVID-19 pandemic, you know that many libraries focused, and we heard it already, focused on their digital services and sources. This was the fact also for my libraries, and it is evident that this was an understandable and first reaction to the emergency situation. But this transition from the inner world of a library, so to speak, to the outer world of the digital part of the globe was not easy, and in many respects a lot of new tasks and also new competencies have been expected by the libraries. You remember that many of publishers, for instance, provided for a limited time span free access to their sources, to publications, in particular to medical e-journals and e-books, to support the work and the research in particular in this particular situation. But the free access to these sources was not just a click on a link in the internet, but it was necessary to support this new service, which was very much appreciated, of course, to support it by connecting to your IP ranges and to harmonize it with your subscriptions and so on. So there was a lot of work that has been done by the libraries to support quality educational access to information in this way. The same holds true also for particular and exceptional loan services we provided. In many libraries, the loan services have been expanded, and sort of easier and more generous policy has been decided to allow. And
that's great. Thanks, Jan.
Sorry.
I think in the interest of time, we're going to move on to Julie now. Julie.
Yes, good morning again, everyone. I'm happy to be able to talk a little bit about the way that the 408 public libraries in Georgia have responded and what kind of programming they've implemented due to COVID-19, and especially how we are addressing the challenge of delivering quality education right now to our very large state. Like libraries all over the world, our Georgia Public Libraries had to pivot really quickly to entirely new service models. And our talented library staff all across the state made a quick move to virtual programming, as so many of us did. Our office was able to purchase Beanstack, which is a platform for online summer reading for every public library in the state, which was very helpful. In Georgia, we've always positioned our libraries as essential elements in the educational infrastructure of the state. We know that libraries are a vital partner in creating a more educated Georgia. So we, from my office, actively participate on boards and task force around education at all levels. We pursue close relationships with our state Department of Education, with a group called Get Georgia Reading that is interested in early literacy, and with our Department of Early Care and Learning. We find that having a seat at the table for public libraries allows us to always be prepared to talk about what libraries have to offer and how we can participate in all the programs that are going on around the state. This year, when the libraries closed their doors due to COVID-19, we knew that library resources were going to be more important than ever. PINES is our statewide public library consortium. We have a statewide library card that works at public libraries across the state. So that group, which operates out of my office, quickly created a PINES e-card with access to all electronic resources. So even people who at the time libraries closed down did not have a library card would be able to go onto our website or to the website of any public library in the state and apply for this e-card and have the ability to check out ebooks, to utilize our statewide database program. And then once libraries reopened, it was very quick and easy to convert that to a full card. And we had tremendous response to that. As well, we had already been working for over a year with our State Department of Education on a student card project with the goal of issuing a public library card to every kindergarten through 12th grade student in the state. We had hired a project manager to facilitate the work between the library systems and the local boards of education to use the student ID number as a library card number. So the cards are issued to school students by way of the library and the local school district. The student data is imported into our PINES database and uses that school ID. This card is limited to 5 checkouts at a time and 2 holds at a time, because obviously this is not the traditional card where the parent signs a form to be responsible for the materials. Users are not charged overdue fines, but can be billed for lost, long overdue, or damaged materials as normal. And the card expires after 1 year and then can be reissued for the next year. To date, we have piloted this in one county that has issued about 40,000 library cards. And these library cards are being used to check out physical books as well as to access our electronic materials. We have a stack of counties lined up now to join in now that this first county has done a proof of concept here, and we are really excited by the idea that we may have every student in the state of Georgia with a public library card. Many of our libraries lend laptops, and this became critically important when, in the middle of March, in-person classes were stopped and many university students just didn't come back from their spring break. And we started hearing stories of students who were trying to complete college coursework on a smartphone. So even though our libraries were closed at the time, we facilitated the handoff of laptops from a library staff member who was willing to meet a student at a convenient location and hand off a laptop for their use. We heard just wonderful, heartbreaking stories of students who were just so grateful for this service, and even had a feature article in the Atlanta newspaper about it. We also have a statewide children's ebook collection called eRead Kids that was funded by our governor's office and state legislature. It started in August of 19 with about 15,000 titles for the youngest K through 4th grade students, and that service had a 43% increase in use after COVID. So once again, just ways that we are trying to keep students reading and learning in all of our communities, having access to library services during this unprecedented time.
That's wonderful. Thanks, Julie. I'm going to move on to SDG 8 now, decent work and economic growth. And here we're thinking about, for example, how's the pandemic affected libraries? So what measures have you taken within your libraries to support employment readiness and business growth? And does indeed your institution support SDG 8 in its strategic planning? And before we move on to Julie again, I just want to say to my colleagues on the panel, please can you keep your answers relatively brief because we've got quite a lot to go through. Thanks, guys. So Julie.
Yes, community engagement is really at the heart of everything we do, and our agency has always had a focus on external communication and storytelling to ensure that all Georgians are aware of the resources available at our libraries. And this became more important than ever as we wanted to make sure that people knew how libraries could be helpful in employment readiness and business growth. We consider technology fundamental to business and individual success. So we have long provided tech loaner kits out to our libraries so that people all over the state, in the most rural areas even, could try out as many new technologies as we could possibly provide. Many of our libraries have maker spaces so that people who are doing kind of small businesses that would benefit from those sorts of things can come in and use those. My agency works through technology boot camps where we pull in tech people from all of our libraries so that they can learn the latest and greatest. We also have a very robust online community of library technical staff to ensure that we have technical expertise at every public library in the state. We were in Georgia the first statewide purchase of EBSCO's product on the Entrepreneurial Learning Initiative. So we offer access to every county, including many who could never afford this product. We are offering their entrepreneurship mindset training program, and right now we have a promotion going on where patrons can earn prizes for completing that program, and we're getting lots of good feedback about how helpful that is for individuals who are hopeful to become an entrepreneur or start a small business. We've carefully cultivated close relationships with state and local government officials and the university system of Georgia so that we can stay aware of the specific needs of our communities and our educational institutions and our students at all levels. We're really responsive to those needs, and we continue to remember that we need for our libraries to remain at the heart of every community. We partner with our regional workforce development colleagues to use the broad reach of those 408 public libraries to assist them in their efforts to get out into every segment of the community. And our libraries provide valuable space for distance learning and online coursework. Due to our location within the university system of Georgia, we have a longstanding relationship with our campuses and with our small business development centers, and our libraries work to promote their low-cost no-cost business training webinars in every Georgia county.
That's great. Thanks, Julie. Brilliant. So can we move on to Christine now? Christine, please.
Yes, hi. At the Library of Congress, in terms of supporting decent work and economic growth, I wanted to point out that it's definitely part of the library's strategic plan. The Library of Congress strategic goal number 3 is to optimize its resources, including human resources in terms of training, retraining, and recruiting talent. So the library does offer a wide variety of internships and fellowships, summer employment for students. We participate in the DC government Summer Youth Employment Program, and this is to expose young people to the workplace and particularly to working in a library. One of our most popular programs is the Summer Junior Fellows program, where we bring in about 40 or so typically undergraduate students who work for a summer in the library, sort of exploring some of the collections that we have. And we thought that we would have to, when the pandemic hit in March, we thought that we would have to cancel all of our sort of summer interns. They were already, had been hired and were ready to go. And so, but this summer, the whole program was done online. The students, the library fellows, they all stayed in their homes. They worked solely on digital collections, and at the end of the summer, there's traditionally a sort of a big workshop where they all discuss what it is that they had worked on over the summer, and we did it with a series of Zoom calls. So we're very proud of the fact that we were able to keep our summer interns and our summer students working through the summer, despite the fact that the library was closed and everybody was working from home, and we heard that it was a very positive experience. So that is one of the ways in which the library sort of supports this particular SDG. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks, Christine. So over to you, Jan.
Yes, I think there are two different, not only two, but there are different levels of action in this respect, how libraries can support employment and the economic situations. Of course, in poorer and underdeveloped countries, you can provide and you must provide basic services. But I have the fortune to live in a rather developed and rich country, and we support, of course, this sector in another way, informed to provide access to very specialized, and this is in this respect important, to very expensive sources. You can imagine that small companies and beginners on the economic market often need access to very expensive journals or databases, and libraries such as my library in the research sector can provide this access easily, and we do this, of course. And the other part of the medal is that we also enhance step by step the navigation tools to get better results, to get precise results, and to be updated. Another part in this respect is the promotion of open access publication models, which is, of course, an important support for beginners or scientists and young people at the end of their, or at the beginning of their career, at the end of their education time. And libraries serve in this context as assistants in introducing to the different diverse publication models, and to provide information to get easy way to publish the first results. I would like also to focus on another aspect very briefly. This is the so-called GLAM sector. This is where libraries are part of this galleries, libraries, archives, and museum sectors, and this is also a sector of action where we promote, for instance, cultural tourism by giving a higher awareness of the value and of the circumstances of our cultural heritage, and thus in always, not always, but sometimes also in poorer countries, we can promote in this way the economic market. And a last remark to the COVID situation, to be more precise, to the post-COVID era we have to face, because it is the time to think about the future. And we heard a lot of activity about a lot of activities that were made during the COVID pandemic, but now we have to think also on the time after. And we learned that we can provide a lot of digital information to give access to many sources, but of course the preconditions to get access and to use these means is not harmonized all over the globe. So this action in context with COVID has the risk also to separate the world in those who can get easily access to these means and those who cannot. So here a role of the libraries should be to work against this development, and also to have in mind that the web, where all these sources and services have been provided that the web is a marketplace, and on this marketplace there are root capitalism rules valid, and we have competition with a number of big players who certainly observe with high attention how information is available for free and how high the interest for this information is in the world. So I think libraries should be aware of this situation and to look for...
Absolutely, Jan. And I think that segues really nicely actually into our next point on SDG 10, which is focusing on reduced inequalities. And the issue here we want to look at is clearly the events of the last year have really heightened global awareness around racial and social inequalities. And so what have libraries done to actually address equity issues within our community? So are there things that we have done within our libraries? So let's continue with Jan, because I think that line followed on from the point you were making.
Yes, thank you, Stuart. Yes, I can go on, but I would in this context like to focus on another aspect. The SDGs in general are based on three pillars, so to speak. This is economy, the social sector, and the environment. And it has been repeatedly emphasized by many stakeholders, and among them also the European Union Parliament, that the fourth pillar is missing and should be added, and this is culture, because culture has a very high relevance for reduction of inequalities. We have to see the impact of culture that can be a source of identity for communities, which can also consolidate in this respect communities and create collective narratives that leads to better understand the diversity of culture and appreciate different cultures may be represented in the own community, and it is also an entry point to start on a cultural dialogue. So what libraries must foster, apart from all what we have mentioned here in this context, is something I would like to call cultural literacy. We also need for the awareness of inequalities in our society, and in particular the cultural sector is of outstanding importance, because libraries in this context can be characterized as memory institutions and thus as providers of cultures, together of course with other memory institutions like museums and archives. And the question, how do libraries address these issues of equity or non-equity, is in this context that, as has been already said, we have to provide access, but in cultural respect and navigation through the information on culture, heritage, and exchange of cultural heritage. And this, of course, in context with other memory institution to get a higher awareness of the diversity, interconnection, and mutual comparison of cultural traditions, and thus to increase the inclusiveness and more respect towards minorities and reduce inequalities. So this is what I would like to address to the question of reducing inequalities. And yes, I think I should be. I should stop here to give more time to other to their comments.
So let's move over to Julie now.
Yes, I would like to talk for a moment a little bit more broadly than just Georgia and talk about the work of COSLA, which is the Chief Officers of State Library Agencies. We are the state librarians for every state in the United States, and what we're doing in the area of EDI. We have just completed a lengthy and thorough process of examining the role of both state library agencies and public libraries more generally in taking leadership in this area. A stated purpose of COSLA is to provide leadership on issues of common concern and national interest. Because performing this duty in this moment calls for intentional efforts that strengthen equity, diversity, and inclusion across the membership body, COSLA engaged a consultant to guide us in this process. Our goal was to develop an equity, diversity, and inclusion program that engaged membership in the creation of an organizational diversity statement. This statement, the supporting research, a maturity model, and change management information provided guidance for COSLA to help ensure people of every racial, ethnic, gender, sexual orientation, economic, educational, geographic, and disability status have equitable access to all library services. We look forward to sharing the results of this work in the coming weeks and are committed to being guided by this as we provide leadership to public libraries in every state in the United States. We're also very determined to not let this moment pass and to continue this work as we go forward.
Thank you, Julie. That's great.
Certainly.
Can we move on to Christine?
Yes, hi. So the Library of Congress is very aware of its social responsibility to further awareness of racial and social inequalities. And again, we look to our collections in order to broaden this awareness. The library has very rich collections that explore the civil rights movement of the United States. And currently we have an exhibit of Rosa Parks and her photographs and letters, which not only talk about her social activism in the civil rights movement, but also they describe a little bit about her as a person and as an individual. So it's a really interesting exhibit which takes this one very important person in American history and just provides a sort of a various perspectives on her. So the library, when it puts together its events and when it thinks about how to portray American history through its various collections, always has a focus on highlighting sort of this social inequality and various forms of social protest. We've had exhibits on AIDS movement, on women's rights, women's suffragettes. We do lots of blogs and podcasts on various topics. The Law Library on December 10th is going to have its annual celebration of Human Rights Day. So we try to use our collections in order to heighten awareness of the history of social protest, the history of inequality in the United States.
Thanks, Christine. So I'd like to take a pause now, just momentarily, to ask our audience about how they might be using the SDGs as a framework when thinking about your library and your library strategy. So again, we'll be using Poll Everywhere, and there'll be a link on the screen and also in the chat. So what we want to specifically ask is, how helpful do you feel the SDGs are as a framework when thinking about your library and its planning? And you'll see we've got 4 options here, which is ranging from not helpful through very helpful indeed. So if you want to respond to that now, would be great. That's great. Thanks, everyone. It was interesting. We started off as seeing it was very helpful, and now we've been pipped by somewhat helpful. So we're seeing that libraries generally feel there is room to incorporate the SDGs into our planning. So that's perhaps it's an aspiration for us rather than something we're doing right now. So thanks, everyone who participated in that. Now I'd like to move on to SDGs 16 and 17 together. This is really looking around peace, justice, and strong institutions, and then our partnership for the goals. As OCLC Global Council library leaders, we thought that the thoughts you have about the library's role in developing SDGs and how we can work together can be really useful. So what opportunities do we see for libraries to become stronger institutions for peace and justice? So over to you, Julie, first.
Thank you. As libraries are among the most trusted institutions in communities worldwide, we enjoy the reputation for openness and compassion and commitment to equity of access for all. I know certainly here in America, our trust in many of our institutions has been strained in recent years, certainly in government, but also in public and other public and private institutions are experiencing lower levels of trust. But the exception to those patterns are libraries. Still, nearly 4 in 5 Americans trust librarians as sources of news and information, far outpacing local or national media as information services. So we are in a unique position to offer a safe haven to learn about a dizzying array of new technologies, to help veterans and military personnel learn about services, to curate accurate and health information, to support free and fair elections, and to meet the needs of first generations and Americans and immigrants. We are poised to support social engagement in the digital age, and as community anchor institutions, public libraries are key parts of civic life. Has it ever been more important for nations to have an informed citizenry to maintain their democratic form of government?
Great, thanks, Julie. That's really important. And Jan.
Thank you, Stuart. Yes, I would quickly go to the current situation in the shadow of the COVID-19 pandemic. We know all that most of the SDGs will suffer from the situation, not only our societies, but also this program. There will be a lot of negative consequences for many SDGs because the circumstances in life became more difficult. So libraries are more challenged than ever to enforce their role to promote, of course, access to information and to partner with other institutions. We have the tradition that libraries for a long time already have cooperated in networks all over the world. So this is not new to us, but we have to think of new forms in this cooperation. And an example of the field which could be concerned is the open access, the open data and open science field where libraries are active, as you know, and all these areas, the openness also related to this area is so decisive for peace and justice in these times. We must know that, and this is important, that the major part of our society believe in the competence of scientists, and they have trust towards expert knowledge in these times of crisis. Since libraries are part of the related information ecosystems where scientists and researchers are active, we can understand also our role in supporting and reinforcing this important part, also to oppose against fake news and disinformation, which is an enormous danger, not only in times of COVID-19, but in general. Thank you.
Thanks, Jan. So over to you, Christine.
Yes, I think that just to follow on what Jan and Julie had mentioned, libraries really are uniquely positioned in our communities in order to create, connectedness between people in all sorts of ways. I mean, we create connectedness between our, externally with our users, with our community. We connect in all different kinds of ways to help people sort of get a better understanding of the world around them. No other institution, really has that same mission as as libraries do. And libraries do have a critical role in promoting critical thinking and in teaching sort of users how to evaluate information. And as a trust institution, as Julie mentioned, it really is the one place where people can come and know that the information, the resources have been curated and can be accurate and are actually available and useful to everybody. So libraries absolutely play a very critical role in developing partnerships and in strengthening our institutions and our broader knowledge.
Thanks, Christine. I think what's really clear from our conversations we've had is the interrelatedness of a lot of these SDGs. And I think for us as libraries, I think we're seeing lots of really important societal and political connections as much as we are in terms of our profession as librarians and information scientists. So I want to say thank you. It's been a wonderful conversation, and I hope that you've gained some valuable insights. I know that I have. And I especially want to thank our guest speaker, Chris Cyr, and to all our panelists, Christine, Jan, and Julie, and to all of you for joining us and participating in the chat in today's meeting. Before we close, I've got some announcements I'd really like to share with you. First, please mark in your calendar, the next webinar in our series, which is Academic Library Work Meets Sustainable Development. This will take place on the 9th of February 2021. You can learn more and register using the link shown on screen and being shared in the chat as well. So I really would encourage you, particularly from the academic sector, to come to that webinar as well. We'd like all of you to share your perspectives with us through our Global Library Survey on the SDGs. This survey is a partnership between the OCLC Global Council and OCLC Research. It's open from now until the 31st of January 2021 and is open to all library types and libraries of all shapes and sizes, so please do participate. The results of this global survey will be published in June of 2021. So thank you very much again for joining us today. When you leave today's session, you'll be asked to complete a brief evaluation. Please take a few moments to share your thoughts about today's session with us. They're always invaluable. We look forward to seeing you at our next webinar on February 9th. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening.